Good morning. This is a video that's going to teach you how to write in your reading logs. There are basically 4 ways that you can write in your reading log. You can reflect, you can connect, you can ask other types of questions and write about them, or you can predict. And I'm going to go through each one of those ways. One of the choices that you can do for your reading log is to write a reflection. Basically, kind of think of your reading logs as letters to me so that I understand that you know what you're reading. So a reflection could be something like how a setting affects the characters, what you would change about the book and why, how the information in the book fits with what you know or what you've seen, like through your own experiences, and the author doesn't have to spell it out to you. You can write about what you notice about the characters, such as what you think made them act the way that they did or how they have changed throughout the course of the book so far. And you can also talk about parts that have like great sensory images, like they really describe certain parts of the book well. Like you could say, I could see in this one section of the book everything about the character's environment, and kind of tell me about it. So sort of think of this as a letter that explains your reflections about the book to me personally. Another way that you can write your reading log is you can personally connect to it and compare to it. You could write about how the book reminds you of yourself, how it reminds you of other people that you know, how it reminds you of something that happened in your life. You can talk about how this book reminds you of other books that you have read or movies that you have seen or characters, events in the world, settings, whatever. You could talk about if you've had a similar experience to the character in the book. You could talk about what this story means to you. You could talk about your thoughts and feelings about the author's message. And those are all examples of connecting personally with the book. Another thing that you could do in your reading log is you could predict what's going to happen next. You could say, I think this is going to happen to the character, and here's why. You could talk about the character and say whether or not your predictions were right, what you thought was going to happen, and maybe what happened instead. As far as I'm concerned, you could write about a whole variety of other questions. You could talk about what you liked about the book, what you disliked about the book, or about parts of the book. You could say, I don't get why the character acted like this. You could say, here's how the main character has changed so far in the story. Or you could say, here's why I think the author chose the title for this particular book, or this particular chapter, and here's what I think is going to happen in this chapter based on the title of the chapter. You could say, here's what I really want to know about the character or the author. And you could say to yourself, does the author really keep the story moving? Do you like the way that the events of the plot laid out? What I really want you to do is I want you to think that your reading log is kind of like a personal letter to me. Like if you and I were sitting down at the classroom table and we were sort of discussing your book, that's how I want you to write. It's informal, it's casual, it needs to be several paragraphs in length, it needs to have correct grammar and spelling, and it needs to really discuss whatever aspect of the book you've chosen to discuss, the different kinds that I've just gone through in this video. If you have questions about it, I have typed all of these kinds of questions out, and I think they're going to be in your library, which I think is up here in the top part of your screen. So if you have any further questions about your reading response logs, you can ask me, but you should expect for them to be posted on Edmodo daily. I did forget to mention that I am storing this video and the handout about how to write a reading response in the library. I think that's also, up here at the top of your screen. So you can check it out. See ya! Have a good time!